would you say to 3 consultations plus 3 years of access to over 300 hours of Vedic astrology video courses, all for the low price of $333? Well, between now and midnight London time on the 17th of May, you can have just that if you'll visit the link above. So when the winds of change are blowing really hard, sorry, it's kind of low budget. I can't afford like a wind machine or anything like that, so I kind of just have to like pretend. When pieces are falling off right and left, oops, there goes a body part. Maybe I'm just getting old. But when little bits of your life seem to be falling by the wayside with each moment that passes, when you're not really sure of what it is that you should do next, when you don't really know where things are going, when you're in the midst of like massive confusion, what on earth can you do? Well, what you need to do, and this is something that you especially need to do during this new moon cycle, is to remember who you are. Because you see, there are certain things about us that don't change. Those things that we are firmly, convinced of deep within our heart. Those things that define who we are as an individual, our core ethics, those things that just consistently stay with us, those never go away. So when people are disappearing from your life, when friendships used to be there that no longer seem to work, when the world is changing rapidly all around you, shifting from one age into a completely different age practically overnight, you need to hold on to what you know to be right and what you know to be true. That's what you can do in order to deal with the confusion. You see, some things in your life right now need to be burnt away because they no longer work, they no longer fit, and to a certain degree, it can feel really painful. And sometimes these purification periods, let's call it that, can happen in a really seemingly harsh way, making you face like some difficult truths, having to deal with sides of a situation that you didn't want to deal with. In short, it doesn't feel pleasant, but it's very necessary. Because you see, if there was no reason to change, you'd just hold on to things that no longer work. So much like when we get sick because we have a cold, right? We catch a cold bug, so we get sick. We have to get sick and be unwell in order to cleanse things out of our body. Sometimes we have to go through these periods of what can be seemingly difficult and confusing so that we can be absolutely certain of who we are and what we stand for and what we absolutely won't stand for. So what you're needing to do with this new moon cycle is, yes, to a degree, be a little bit flexible. The winds of change are blowing, and one part of you, much like a tree in the breeze, those upper limbs, needs to move and blow with the winds of change. The other part of you, which is, the trunk, the stout part of the tree, needs to stay solid in the midst of everything that's blowing your way so that it can be deeply rooted in self, in knowledge, deeply in self-trust. That's what this particular new moon cycle is all about, is getting you into the space where there are things within yourself that you absolutely know, and you're willing to let go of those things that no longer work, that no longer fit. So if you find that, as we were saying earlier, people are disappearing from your life, if you find that certain aspects of your life that you used to like, you no longer like, if you even find that your diet is changing, which is something that could very deeply happen with this particular new moon cycle in Krittika, move with it. Understand that you need to walk away. It may feel uncomfortable. It may feel to you like this is too big of a change. My life is changing in such a radical way. How am I ever gonna know who I am? And like, if you have a strong need for security, like, emotional security, this can feel a little bit uncomfortable for you. But what you need to do is you just need to firmly identify with those things that you do know. In identifying with those things that you do know, you'll be able to soon recognize those people in your life that you still identify with, who still seem to be staying there as the core. You'll notice those things in your life that are still sticking around, like those body parts that aren't falling off anymore. Still have my hair. And you'll begin to know that there's nothing really to be concerned about other than the fact that you may be feeling a little bit of anxiety. And you know what? I take that back. That's nothing to be concerned about. It's a feeling, it's an emotion, and what you have to identify is whether it's actually connected to anything real that's going on, or whether a lot of it really is ultimately your imagination. With this particular new moon cycle, we also have a tense alignment going on between Rahu, the North Node, and Jupiter, as they're forming an intense aspect with Pluto in Shravana Nakshatra. This can feel really powerful. You're likely really concerned about the choices that you're making. You don't want to mess up. You may find yourself getting into conversations with people that are seemingly going nowhere. Things that you feel make complete sense may be completely senseless to them. This is all perfectly normal. It's like going through a massive purification all at once. So let it happen. Welcome in the changes that are occurring. Trust, of course, that you will still be there on the other side. And if you could use a little bit of help feeling, well, a little more solid inside of yourself with this particular new moon cycle, I do offer single consultations in the form of my Empower Hours and Empower Hour Plus consultations. You can find information on those at the link above. That's going to do it for this look at the new moon in Krittika Nakshatra, which takes place on the 19th of May, 2023. Until next time, please do take the very best care of yourself. Bye now.